Hi, good afternoon, Facebook. You guys are watching Spilling the Tea, and I'm Chasmar.
And I'm Jazzelle, and we bring you the topics you want to hear.
From the people you want to hear them from.
Yes, God.
So how's it going?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Great, great, great.
How are you guys doing?
Wonderful.
Yes,
Awesome,
God.
awesome. So before we get started, and introducing our wonderful guest that we have on today, I would like to give a recognition. We lost someone just this past weekend who was a very close friend of mine and, someone else on our panel today. His name is Jeremy Diaz. He was very young. And I kind of want to throw it out there for us to cherish and love people while they're here. We don't know when someone close to us will leave us. It was very unexpected for not only his friends but his family. The wake, for anyone that is interested, the wake will be next Wednesday at the Memories Funeral Home on Hudson Avenue from 12 to 8. The day after will be his funeral, which will be held at Antioch Baptist Church from 11 to 12. So if you guys, were close to him or anything like that, just, make it out, show some love, show support. Also, I have a link on my page.
Yes.
I have a link on my page for his GoFundMe. Also, his younger sister has one. She started it. Her name is Bronx Queen on Facebook.
I know, yes.
Yep. Just go on her page or go on my page, click on the link, donate something. Even if it's just $5, even if it's just $1, it'll definitely help out the cause. It's a family that's, that wasn't expecting this. So you know how things can go as far as finances and things of that nature. But this guy was a really good guy. He had a very sweet heart. We all have our troubles, we all have our struggles, but he kept a good head and he did the best he can while he was here.
Yes, God.
So you guys show love.
We should have a moment of silence just for him. Okay.
Awesome.
That's lovely, honey. So, yes, we have two wonderful guests here. And the first one I'm introduced is, this is my new best friend. Oh my God, we become so close over these past couple months. And my friend, well, I call her Peanut, but Dion is what everyone knows her by. I call her her. It's okay if I call you her. We the girls. We the girls. So, Dion, so tell us a little bit about yourself and what do you do in the community?
Well, I'm young, you guys. I'm only 24. I'm not that old. So right now I work for ADT. I do that. And of course, in the segment, homosexuality in the church, I do go to church.
But I know you have a brand. I know you have something that you're working on.
What I'm working on now is my chop. So right now, this is a movement. This is a movement I'm starting up for myself to go forward. So to describe what a chop can be anything that you disagree with. It could be like a tone of voice, someone's outfit apparel that you see, something that you just don't get along with. It can be a chop. Okay. So as an area, as a setting, let's say you walk into a party and there's too much going on, it's a chop. Gotta go. Gotta get out of there. It's a chop for me. So this is a movement I'm starting. I started it in a comedic way, doing videos and things like that. And then, I have hats. I have a vendor. I'm getting hats, I want you guys to support me. It's a chop hashtag with a chop on it. Support.
Do you have a Facebook page or anything they can link to or anything?
You can link to my page now, Bougie Pendleton. I'm connected to...
Say it again?
Bougie Pendleton. I'm connected to... Bougie. Just a little bit, just a tad bit. Nothing wrong with being bougie. So you can find me there, and then I can, communicate, and, we'll start off from there. My big goal is to, have a big foundation to help out others in the community of need, to, help those who need, school utensils, or, who may need, support, leaving town, or, just something in a way to give back. So I'm starting up from ground. I want to, build this up by myself, with help from others and things like that to support and bridge and get out there. And then use the support that I got from people to bridge back out to others.
Most definitely.
I see it.
Yes, God.
I see it.
And she's the next guest, honey.
Oh. So we also have here Malik, who I don't want to go into what it is that you do. I'll leave that to you. Okay. But so introduce yourself. Let the world know who Malik is.
Well, my name is Malik. Some people call me Bishop, Pastor. I'm the pastor of New Beginnings Christian Fellowship here located in Rochester, New York. I have been pastoring since the age of 20, actually pastoring 2 churches at one time, and also we're a part of an inclusive ministry. Basically meaning that it does not matter who you are, what sexuality, what gender, you can come here and worship God for who you are. And that's basically, that's where, we're at right now.
Okay. So where are you guys located?
It's actually downtown Rochester. If you're not sure, Open Arms, MCC, Metropolitan Church.
Okay, I know
located
that.
on 707 East Main Street.
That's across the street from Delta,
Yes,
right?
Delta Sonic, yes.
Gotcha. I know
Yes.
that is. Okay.
Yes.
And you hold every Sunday?
We have, right now at this moment, we hold services every 1st and 3rd Sundays.
Every
First and
first
third.
and third.
At 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, that's a good time too.
Yeah, so because some of the young ones, on Saturday night they be turning up. So we want to still give them the opportunity to come praise Jesus.
Yes.
Yes,
Worship the Lord.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Turn
God.
up.
So you guys are definitely open to what the world gets into, and you guys kind of.
See, my thing is that where I came from church, it was very what you call exclusive. There were certain things that you can't do, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. And I feel like that God is for everybody, and for our services, the name of our service is called Life Service, but it's not just life; it's an acronym, LIFE, which means love is for everyone. So
I like that.
we're just here as a ministry to bring love to people and allowing them to have a space to praise God, regardless of gender, class, sexual orientation, any of those things. That's over. Since 2017, if somebody wants to worship God, it doesn't matter whether they're in the transgender community. You don't keep them from the house of God. You don't keep them from the house of God, and that's where we're at right now. Love is for everybody.
I like that.
I have a real quick question
Go
for
ahead.
Malik. And just a quick question. Just to give a shout out to your husband.
Oh yes, shout out to my baby, First G,
Yes.
in the building.
My phone's not working. So if we could possibly get one of you guys, or maybe even Malik, to shout out the questions. If you have any questions on that side, can you see them? You can't see them?
I think he can go on.
Okay.
Yeah, my phone funny, y'all.
So my question was to you is homosexuality in church. Hi, Janelle. Oh my gosh.
Hey,
that's
love.
my
Thank you for
sister.
tuning in.
Yes. She's a recurring guest. But my question to you is, so you always believed in the Lord. You always believed in God, right?
Yes, I've been preaching since I was 14.
She's
I've been in church all my life.
Because, you know what? This is off the books, but I started watching a show called Greenleaf. Everybody watch Greenleaf?
I heard about
I
it.
haven't watched it.
I haven't gotten
I
into
need to
it.
see
It's
it.
a good show. And one of the things that the bishop talks about on the show is that, like his daughter and him had a calling from God to be able to get up and be able to preach the gospel of the Lord to the people. Did you feel that? Did you feel that? And if you did feel it, what is that feeling like?
I want to say that for me it was more like a hereditary gift, because throughout my family there have been pastors, bishops, apostles, all of that. So it was something that I want to say it was ingrained into me. So yeah, it's a gift, and it's just like any gift. Like I tell people, if you have muscles, everybody has them. It's just depending on how much you work it out. You may have bigger muscles than me, but we have the same muscles, so it's just working it out. So I've been working out my gift, my calling for like the last, since 14, so 26, so carry the one, I don't know. But, it's been a long time, and I just turned 26 April 2nd. I'm still celebrating my birthday.
Pretty young.
Happy birthday.
Pretty
Yeah,
young.
so it's hard. It's a lot of work doing this, because in the religious community, they're kind of funny acting. They don't want to deal. But that's fine. And for me, a lot of people, and this is nothing against anybody, I just like to bring people clarity. People talk about the church as in oh, it's an LGBT church. Our church is an LGBT church. And that's far from it, The reason why I say that is because, you know, people are going to always label what they don't understand, and that's fine.
Of course.
It's like this, you know, why would we call it an LGBT church? You know, because it's like we're here at Strong, you know, if I'm at the doctor's and I see and my doctor may be gay, I don't call him a gay doctor.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You don't call him a gay doctor.
Oh my
you know,
God.
and I just went to the gay hospital. You know, so as a pastor, no, I'm not a gay pastor. I'm just a pastor. You know, I just so happen to be same gender loving. You know, and a lot of things, you know, you can never label or label something just because of the majority, I want to say. Because if that's the case, you know, I can say that a whole bunch of churches are women churches because it's predominantly women churches. So a lot of people tend to label what they don't understand, and it's far from that. Being inclusive means for everyone, not LGBT. You know what I'm saying? So that's you know, where we're at. You know, and I feel like that's a lot of things that, you know, people have been getting about, you know, our ministry and about our church. You know, we're just directed toward, you know, the LGBT community, and that's, you know, yeah.
So as far as going into, you know, having that lifestyle, this question is for both of you guys. You know, as far as having that lifestyle, growing up with that lifestyle, but at the same time growing up in the church, like what kind of backlash did you guys get as far as, you know, because I'm pretty sure
you get it's a constant struggle. Like every day is a walk. So one, it's a battle within yourself, but not only are you battling yourself, you're battling what others are saying to you. So you already know what's right and what's wrong, and you understand what's already going on, but then you question it, like, well, why is this happening to me? Or like, what's going on within myself? So you do get a lot of backlash. Like they say, you know, how can you be in here and have that lifestyle, or like, how do I know your worship is for real, or how your praise is for real? And you have to like find yourself and go back to like, well, I'm not here for you. I'm just here for the relationship that I have with me and God. You know, because I've been through personal things in my own self, my own life, and you can't walk in my shoes. You may have seen me, you may can spot me out, you may even know my name or see my walk, but you haven't literally lived in my shoes 24/7. Your foot size isn't my foot size. Your stride isn't my stride. You know, my talk isn't your talk. So you can't sit there and try to judge me or negate what's going on in my life by me being here just because you feel like your sin may be less harsh than mine.
right.
So.
Right. What I tell people all the time, you know, in church, you have people that are walking around with a Bible and a flashlight trying to figure out where you at in God, when in reality they need to have a Bible and a mirror trying to figure out where they at in God.
Right. Yes, that was a good analogy.
That's just how it is, you know. The Bible says that, and I don't want to preach, but the Bible says that God is a spirit, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. And there are a lot of people that are in church that are worshiping him in the spirit, but not worshiping him in the truth. And that's the issue with especially the black Pentecostal church community. You know, be true to who you are. We have, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, but we have so many pastors that are married and have kids, but you're same gender loving at the same time. And you're not being true to yourself. You're not being true to your congregation. You're not being, you know, things like that. So I feel like this is the time in 2017. Oh, it's out there,
It's
you
out
know.
for me. I know a couple.
So, you know, for me, we're here to create a space where Jesus is the focal point of our worship, not the legalities, not any of that other stuff. We're about love. That's it. Right. And the thing about it is that in church, you know, it's sometimes so phony and so fake.
Yeah.
We're real people serving a real God with real issues.
Right.
I'm here dealing with issues. You talking about, I'm dealing with depression right now. I'm dealing with a suicidal mind before you start talking about all of this stuff. No, you know, it's really to a point where we really got to be true to ourselves.
Right.
Really be true. So dealing with that in my life in church, me being a preacher, see, it's hard being a preacher and being same gender loving. You know, I used to preach everywhere in Rochester. Don't get those calls anymore. You know.
So the fellowship kind of like.
Oh yeah, done.
Oh, that was my next question.
Done.
Do you think that's because of the whole marriage thing, or?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. You know, but I feel like as though as this, God called who He want to call. You know, and doesn't matter about any of that stuff. And, you know, in my life, God is showing me in my life that, you know, He's called me. All of the things that, you know, God has done for me and my husband, you know, He's working some things out, turning some things out. So through all of the stuff that man, I'll say it like this, man's rejection was really God's protection. So, you know, we're living in victory. You know, even all of those things that happened in with the church and, you know, all of those things, because there was a point where I had 2 churches.
Right.
You know, and all of that went away, you know, but I tell people all the time, you know, even though you're rejected, you know, God still has his hand on your life, you know, so, yeah, it doesn't matter, whether you're gay or straight, whatever you have been called to do, you do it.
So my thing is that a lot of times, I mean, the problem that, you know, a lot of people who say they're Christian, you know, I guess I would say cisgender, heterosexual people have with, who are in the church, who have with the LGBT community. I mean, is it a sin to love someone of the same gender
No.
or the same identity, or is it just a problem of having
Fear.
of sex? Because I know in the Bible, what does it say? What does it say?
Well, see, this is the issue when it comes down to the Bible, you know, and I don't want to get to it much because, see, God speaks surpass the Bible. See, we think God speaks between Genesis and Revelation, and he stopped speaking. And that's not what it is. And I tell people that all the time. You know, Sodom and Gomorrah was never destroyed because of homosexuality. You'll see that in the book of Ezekiel. All of these things that we've been, you know, learned to believe, and it's far from that. It's tradition. It's hearsay and all of those things.
It's the way someone interprets it.
Right, interpret it. I mean, let's be real. 20 years ago when I was in church, women couldn't wear pants, they couldn't wear lipstick, they couldn't preach, they couldn't do all that because of what the Bible, what they thought the Bible said. You understand what I'm saying? So people can misinterpret the Bible and use it all different kinds of ways. They used it in slavery to control African Americans. So my thing is, you're not going to control me. I'm going to do what God called me to do. And in the LGBT community, you know, I feel like a lot of them are not in a spiritual walk because of the fact that they feel like at being homosexual or lesbian that they're going to hell, and that's, to me, that's not true.
You see, I'm a churchgoer also, but I've kind of bounced around for quite some time. Right now, my church home is Antioch Baptist, but before that, I was with a church home that I didn't too much agree with the things that were going on as a church family.
Right.
I was very involved in the church. I started with doing, you know, usher board duties and, you know, moving into a whole armor bearer thing. I felt like I was giving my all, but at the same time I was being judged.
Right.
You know, and not only did it steer me away from the church, but it kind of steered me away from the religion at some point in time. And it was because I would see these same people that would have the most to say about how someone else is living their life, getting up, hooping and hollering, saying all of these blessings that they get, or whatever the case may be. But you slandering my name, you slandering the next person's name, and at the same time, when you leave here, you calling people all types of names in the book. You know what I mean? You shooting back your bottle. You know what I mean? So like you living just, you know what I mean? You living just like, not like I'm living, but you know what I mean? You got your own thing that you're dealing with too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at that point in time, I was a little younger. You feel what I'm saying? So when I was introduced to the religion on my own terms, because I grew up in the church. I grew up in a Baptist church. But when I was introduced to it on my own terms, and I wanted to, you know, give it my own praise, give it my all, I altered my life a little, you know, but I'm just not with the whole judgment thing.
You want to know why, though? Because a lot of people, they forget that the church is supposed to be as a hospital. Nobody's perfect. You come to church to get clean. You come to church for restoration. You come to church to take communion, to forgive your sins, to come back and forth. It's a hospital. It's a place where you're supposed to recover from your wounds and your beat up. So those are your sins throughout the week.
So, but you have a church home.
Yeah, I do.
You have a church home.
I do have a church home.
So, and you're there every Sunday.
Every Sunday.
I know you get that.
Every Sunday.
You're there every Sunday. So how does that work with you having your own church home, you know, and I think you attend with family members and, you know, but I'm pretty sure they're accepting of, you know, as far as family, they're accepting of your lifestyle and, you know, what you give. But, you know, just like Giselle was bringing up when she was saying, like, you know, she'll call you sis or whatever the case may be, you know, and you kind of give cunty, you know. So how does that I don't know, how does that play hand in hand with going to church, you know what I mean, and the actual church followers, not your family, because I'm pretty sure your family, but as far as the, you know, the other churchgoers, and, you know, how does that
It's
work?
because, like, so when I go in there, I don't go in there focusing on anyone else. And I feel like when I go inside the service, every time I step into a church, a new church, my church, wherever I am going, I'm going because I'm going off the relationship with myself. So if I'm up there singing or if I'm up there doing something, I'm singing. First of all, I don't see anybody there at the church.
Right.
It's just me. So I picture myself, me in a room with me and God alone.
Right.
So I'm singing to Him. So I'm trying to connect. Because I'm trying to walk myself into the Holy Spirit, into the Holy Ghost, so His presence can encamp around me. So I'm trying to connect to Him. So it's my relationship that I'm touching with Him. And so when they see me being pure, when they see me, you know, not caring about what I look, because I go in there for an ugly praise. I'm not trying to be cute. So when they see that, they see my gift. They see my calling. You know, they focus on what's being done in my life and the whole process of me and being active in the church. So they look at that aspect more than anything.
But do you have to go in church and
I mean, sometimes you alter your ways.
and turn off? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, me and you interact. When we interact, we give child, we give girl. You know what I'm saying? So do you have to turn that off? Like, and how does that feel to turn that off? Because, you know, when you going into this building, like when I come into work, I'm going to be me. You know what I'm saying?
And
Yeah, to a professional standpoint, because I'm not going to give, you know, I'm not going to go up to Kathy and be like, girl.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So
right,
it's certain things that I have to turn off, and whatever the case may be. But how does that work with, as far as going into the building?
The same way works in a professional standpoint. So, you know, like you won't do certain things like you would do on your job or in a business meeting or, you know, talking to your manager, to your boss. So there are also certain things you just wouldn't do in church. Like you wouldn't go in there with like excessive like colorful garments or, you know, like I wouldn't go in there with like a whole handful of like bangles and accessories and things like that, you know?
Right.
So you kind of like, in a way you do turn off or tone down or try to conform, but we conform daily to go to work. We have to wear a uniform or dress business casual.
True.
To go to a business meeting, you watch what you say and how you act, you know, when you're going and you're trying to promote your things, you know, you have a different spirit. When you're trying to promote yourself, you're more happy, you try to get more engaging. When you're sad, you know, you conform to those things. And if you know, you will conform to those settings, you know, you wouldn't be loud, chewing gum and being all ironic and acting crazy. So you conform, yes, but it's not like a bad conform, because you've been, especially churchgoers who've been going their whole life. So it's kind of like a second nature. It's like a second step. It's like waking up and brushing your teeth.
So I heard you mention a funeral setting. So just imagine, how would you feel? There was a funeral going on for someone that is homosexual. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we have this in the church, how does that even work? You know what I mean? Because you're gonna have someone get up there and be like, you know, that was my husband, or you know, that was my boyfriend, or you know what I'm saying? Like he had a whole gay lifestyle.
Yeah,
He
whole gay
was
lifestyle.
And not even also
like, is that appropriate?
being
Well-
trans in general. A lot of times you have people who are trans who pass away, and then their family just who's in the church just completely changed them and have them sitting there looking like
Right.
a whole
Oh, see,
animal.
now.
Right.
Yeah, sitting
Right.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, quick shout out to all our viewers who joined. We have 16 viewers. Thank you for everyone who's tuning in. Anthony, thank you. It is a great topic. Thank you.
What we got in there? We got Angel.
What's up, Koya? I
Hey,
see you.
Angel.
Hey D,
Diamond.
hey Kenny Blanco, hey Boo, hey Bianca, if Bianca's still listening, hey Bianca, Mother Meech, hey Boo, that's my baby, I love her, Tamika, hey Shanae,
That's me. What's up?
yes,
What's
hey,
up?
how you
Who else is
doing?
there? Tamika, hey, Shanae. Oh, that's Diamond. What's
Sequoia.
up?
Diamond,
Hi,
hey
Sequoia.
Boo, Diamond
Girl, there she
Cherry,
go, girl.
yes honey.
Hey,
Michael,
Tony.
hey,
What's up, Anthony?
what's
Yes,
up?
thank you.
Hey, Tony.
Yes.
Come through. Hey,
Okay.
Michael.
So let's just to get back on topic. You know, I had to do my quick shout outs. But we don't got shout out to the viewers and stuff like that.
Feel free to ask questions too.
Yes,
You
feel free
know,
to ask any questions you guys
this is for
have.
you, so you can ask what you want to ask. Also, we do have our topics and our questions that we would like to ask our guests. You know, but you guys are open to ask also.
Shout out to New Beginnings Christian Fellowship. We love you.
Yes.
Here we go.
Okay, so what was the question you had asked him originally, or did you forget the question?
I think we were just talking in general. I was talking about
You were
just
talking-
pretty much it
And-
being appropriate. Things being appropriate as far as, you know, having a gay funeral. You know, because that's what it boils down to. Because
Yes.
the person that's passing it's all about them. It's all about them.
But see, you know, the thing about it is that you can't, since the subject is about homosexuality in the church, you can't take homosexuality out of the church. You can't. Because let's be real, if every person that we knew that was a part of the LGBT community, gay, lesbian, and you took every song that was written by a gay person, a gospel song or a hymn or any of that stuff, you wouldn't have no music.
Sermons as well.
You wouldn't have no musicians. You wouldn't have any preachers.
Speaking of music, you know they gave who was that? What's his name? He did the song with Kanye West. You know his music is a little more. Kirk Franklin. He did a song with Kanye West on Kanye West's last album, and they gave him a lot of backlash. But if you listen to the song, I'm a Kanye West fan. If you listen to the song, it's very, God focused. You know what I mean? There's no curse words in it. There's no slander of any kind or whatever. It's very godly. But as they would call it, Kanye West is a worldly artist. You know.
Some folks, I tell them all the time, some folks are saved, they're gonna miss heaven. They are.
So saved.
I promise you.
So saved. Hey, wait, that's the T right there. Hold on.
Okay, hold on, come back.
That's the T right there. That is
Cheer
the
to that right there.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, I'm missing out. I don't know what cheers here. I was over there. Oh my God, we do it one more time.
One more time. One more time.
One more.
Girl, so saved that they don't know the real. They don't know the real them, and they, you know what I mean. They
Right.
I feel like a lot of church people, they look down at everyone else because we live out in open with our lifestyle. You know what I mean? Because they choose to hide certain things that they do, and we choose to live how we choose to live.
To thy own self be true. You have to be true to yourself. You can't be true to nobody else. And it's something else.
Let me, we have one question from Michael White. He says, how do you respectfully react to someone who doesn't agree with the lifestyle, but yet you see that their background ain't clean either?
You know what I do? I do as the Bible says. I shake the dust off my feet, and I keep it moving. Because you know, some people are not going to have the same mentality as you.
Okay.
You know, and there are a lot of ignorant people, especially, it's like this. There's a lot of people in church, they know how to live right, but they don't know how to love right. And you can't live right without first loving right.
Without first loving.
You understand what I'm saying? Right. So you can't live right until you love right. Because living right is loving right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you sitting here trying to live right, holiness, that's the big word in the church, holiness. If you sitting here trying to say you living right, but you can't talk to me, you can speak in tongues, but you can't speak to me, that's an issue. I see that as an issue.
That is a perfect thing. This is a perfect thing that you say that because I don't know if you know it or if you know it, but I got a name in the church community.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a name in the church community. Yeah.
Pastor Chasmar? Okay.
It gives very pastor bastard child.
What? Explain that to me.
No.
It gives.
This will be a chop moment. It's a chop.
It's a chop moment.
It's a chop moment.
It gives very that because
I got something to say when you're done.
Because like I said, you know what I mean, I've been in Antioch Baptist Church lately, and the reason why I decided to make that my church home because there was he had a few sermons that I liked, and I loved the way he preached and whatever the case may be, but he had a specific sermon that he brought up homosexuality. And the way he worded homosexuality, it didn't make it seem like it was a disease or that we were aliens. You know what I'm saying? He considered us, just another person on this earth that is dealing with something just like everyone else is dealing with something. And I just love the way he came off about that. And that right there, that was the moment that I knew that should be my church home. So now that I'm in church and I'm dealing with a lot of church people, I'm starting to figure out that people know who I am already. My, I don't know, you don't know this, but my father is a very known pastor in Rochester. Okay. And not only in Rochester, but in other places. I don't want to touch on it too much and, give names because that would be the tea.
No,
but,
that'd be a little bit too much tea.
But yeah, so just like, Oh, there we go. Done. Okay, but just like you say, you know,
And
we can talk in tongues. You know what I mean? We can shout till the walls fall down. You feel what I'm saying? But people don't realize that God preaches love first.
exactly.
You know what I mean? And people need to learn how to love. And they can't speak to you. They can't say the things that they need to say to you. They don't even know how to face you. But you can lead a whole congregation and tell them how they should live their lives and how, you know what I mean, how things should flow according to the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
When you're not setting that
You're
example.
talking real good right now.
Right, isn't he? Now, what do you feel about the term church queen?
No, I love it. I love it.
You love it?
Because that's what they are.
But do you feel like church queen has like a negative kind of connotation to
It's
it?
a chop for me. I don't know.
For,
It's a chop. I'll let you go, but I'll go after. But it's a chop.
Okay.
well, no, I'll leave that alone. Go ahead.
Why is it labelized?
Well,
Because
We're
I
all
But what
I
is
understand
one?
that.
But what is
I
one?
understand
What is
it.
one?
if you go to
If you go to church, you're a church queen.
you're a church queen.
If you go to church, you're a church queen.
If you're in church every Sunday,
What is it called? A party
You know what I
queen?
mean?
If you go to
If
parties
you-
every Saturday?
if you preach,
I mean, you can be.
you can be. You know what I mean?
You
But
can be.
if, just to be honest with you,
Why
if
do
you
you-
put God
why do you-
first,
why you
if
going
you
to
put
church?
God first,
I feel like.
but you're also a homosexual, you will automatically
Be
be
a church
considered
queen.
a church
And
queen.
yeah.
But I feel like a lot of times being church queen has a little bit of negative.
It's like a negative aspect because I don't see that they say it in a positive aspect. I feel like it's a derogatory way of saying that you're a church queen because not only are you in church but you're a queen at the same time. So they're saying it like those two don't mix, like vinegar and oil.
That's
You
how
know?
they're saying it.
So that's what they're saying.
Right. But
So-
yeah, exactly. And see me, I agree with you 100%. My thing is that when it comes down to from where we come from, the ones how I consider a church queen is the ones that are in church and not really truthful with themselves. That's how I see it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Like
The
down
ones
low
that are
pastors.
praise the Lord, hallelujah, thank you Jesus.
But get out of
then
church.
But they get
right,
out of
and then
church.
you're a whole nother,
And be ready to,
girl.
shut something down.
Right, so that's what I consider a church.
I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Because I've had my dealings with the church queens.
Hold on, before you go to church queen, we have a quick question from the viewers. We have Michael White who says before Michael White, Diamond says the main topic in church should not be about homosexuality.
Exactly.
Just because you just have one person in the church who might happen to be gay. Michael says, but what about when the hate comes from the top, and what he means by that is it coming from a pastor or a deacon or somebody that's in the pulpit that's throwing the shade.
I feel like this, and I've said this on Facebook before. I feel like if a lot of people, especially in the black church, they have what you call wounded attachments, and that's the term that I like to use, wounded attachments, because you're going to a place where you feel like you need to be accepted, but then at the same time they're killing you mentally, emotionally, all of that stuff. But you still continue to go because you want to be accepted, but yet it's still killing your mental. And I feel like this, in those type of churches, if you feel like there's something wrong, you got a problem with me being gay, I'm not about to give you my gay money in the offering. That's just how I feel. You know what I'm saying? That's a straight offering plate by how you preach and how you. So I don't subscribe to people like that. I wouldn't even go into a place, because even me just going into a place, for me, calls as support. And I can't, me personally, I couldn't even walk into places like that.
Right.
Because of where I came from. Because where I came from in church, they rebuke you in front of and I'm not talking about just rebuke as in words. I'm talking about body slamming you in church.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You come out of here and pick you up and throw you down and all types of stuff. That's where I've been in front of
Scared of
hundreds
homosexuality out of it.
Right. What they call it, casting out the homosexual demon.
Yeah,
The
evil
demon.
The demon.
spirit,
The demon.
evil spirit.
The
Yeah.
antics.
Yeah.
That's what they get.
So
The antics.
I call it what you call Pentecostal mysticism, and that's what it is. It's all mystic, because
Pentecostal, did you make that up? Or
I made that up.
Pentecostal mysticism, honey.
Yeah.
Let's put that in the dictionary.
Yes.
Yes, God.
Really, because some folk are just so deep. I've seen so many things. I've preached to 3. I've preached to 3,000, and I've preached in different settings, and I've preached at Catholic churches, Pentecostal churches, Puerto Rican churches, non-denominational churches, and about it. I look at all of those things, and it's like people don't come to church to get beat up. people don't come to church to get condemned.
It's a hospital.
You know what I'm saying? If you can't speak life into my life, I don't need to hear anything that you have to say. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I eat the meat and I spit out the bone when it comes down, you know, things like that.
And it is a hospital.
Yeah.
It's a place of healing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It's
from
supposed
it,
to be- it's
right.
supposed to be an extended family
right,
through a spiritual relationship.
Right.
You know, so when you're down in spirit, you know, if you're going through a tough time or you're going through something that you're burdened, your mind is stressed out, you can't sleep, you can't eat. You're supposed to be able to go to the church and go talk about it to somebody up in leadership or a fellow churchgoer that goes there with you. It's supposed to be a place for all of us to come together
Right.
and grow together.
right. And that's absolutely the truth, because, you know, and another thing, homosexuality in the church, a lot of people, how can I say, when it comes down to homosexuality, they feel like as though that they can't have a spiritual walk. And I feel like your spirituality and your sexuality do come together at one point, because you have to find out who you are, and you have to find out who your higher power is. I don't care if it's Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, whatever, you know. You need to find the God of your own understanding and find out who you are, but you have to find out who God is, and then find out who you are as an individual. Your sexuality is a part of that.
Yeah.
It's a part of that, and you can't deny it. And a lot of people deny it so much. That's why a lot of people in the LGBT community are committing suicide. They're depressed, going through so many things, is because there's a lot of missing. For me, that is missing, and I do feel like it is a spiritual thing, you know, because we try to sometimes put holes, you know, fill things that really God can do.
Right.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
Wait, so I want to get a little more juicy.
What about the church? About the church thing?
Yeah, I want to know just
Okay.
about church period.
Okay,
So
let's
we
get
know that
juicy.
Malik here, you know, he has a first gentleman, so he's married. You know,
Yes. Praise the Lord.
what's going on with you?
Oh,
You know,
I'm
anyone
single.
in your life, or what's that about? What does that give?
Well, I am single, but that doesn't say that I'm not, like, you know, talking to people and things like that. But I am single because I'm focused on, you know.
So
things
you
like that.
dibble
But-
and dabble.
Yeah, I dibble. I meddle.
Yeah.
I meddle.
What?
So
you metal? You metal?
Yeah, I dibble and dabble.
Okay.
So you do have.
Yeah, I'm not
Sex.
new. I'm not new to anything. I'm grown. I mean, I dibble and dabble. I meddle. I tiptoe. You know.
You don't think that? You don't think that that's another? You know what I mean? I understand you come to terms with I'm homosexual. You know what I mean? And I will be homosexual. But then you're taking it to another level with having, you know, premarital sex, and you know, but you are a faithful churchgoer.
And that's when I say it comes back to the relationship that you
Right.
have with God, because we all fall short of the glory. We all, you know, we're all in the
Right.
same zone. Just because my sin over here is what I'm going through, this person may be an alcoholic. You're drinking. You're getting drunk. So what's to say that I can't be in this church sitting next to you, and you can't be in this church sitting next to me? Because technically, if you look at both of our cloths, you're not pure white, and neither am I. We both have stains on our cloths. So when we go up to the pulpit or to the altar to get prayer, he's trying to wipe us clean as white as snow. So yes, that's my cloth, that's my stain on my cloth, but your stain is just as long as mine. So he will need the same tide on mine on yours, the same
Right.
dryer on mine on yours, the same fabric softener on mine on yours.
Come through,
Right.
yeah, girl.
And-
Y'all know
and
how
that's
to
the truth.
that.
Yes. I
Y'all know
know.
how to come through. You know, but speaking of sexual behavior and, you know, men having sex with men, just so you guys know what it is that we do here, right now one of the studies that we're promoting here with the Rochester Victory Alliance is the AMP study. And with the AMP study, we're looking for men who have sex with men or transgenders who have sex with men between the ages of 18 and 50 that are HIV negative.
Yes, and you have to be healthy. And
That are in
it's
good
basically
health.
a new way of looking at research where we're not giving you a vaccine, we're giving you an antibody straight up. And this powerful antibody called VCR1 is basically fights up to 91% of the different strains of HIV. So if you was to become infected with HIV, the antibody itself will latch on to HIV, so HIV cannot connect onto your cells, so then and therefore you cannot be infected. And this is a new way of us trying to find new ways of preventing. I mean, we have PrEP. You know, you take it once a day, but we all know PrEP has issues. We all know that it's a good thing, but you have to make sure you take it every day.
Yeah.
And we all know life is life. You may forget. So you're not getting the full protection. But what we here at the RVA, the Rochester Victory Alliance, we want to create long-term solutions where you could get a shot that may last, give you protection for up to a year to 2 years. You know what I mean? That's our main goal.
Right. But we're looking for volunteers. So
Yes. And we do pay our volunteers $2,500 over a course of 2 years for being part of the AMP study.
So why don't you do a raffle for like the first 10 and then pick 2 and they'll give them a chop hat just for coming?
What do you mean? For being in the study?
Yeah,
For being in the study?
For being in the study.
Well, that's kind of coercive, and we're not allowed to coerce. We want people to, they join, they have to do at their own free will. You know, we've been monitored by the government. So we're not giving you anything that's illegal. We're not giving you HIV. You cannot get HIV from our antibody. It's just an antibody that will fight HIV. And like I said, the government monitors us. It's called the IRB, and that's why we couldn't do stuff like that, because they make sure that if we do have anybody coming in, it's because it's of their free will.
because they want to do
Because
it.
in the past, we all wasn't alive then, but they did studies on black people that were illegal, and people did not know. So
Yeah, but we are looking for volunteers. So,
Yeah.
you know, the more volunteers that we can get, the better our efforts will be to coming up with a vaccine and knowing how to protect the people that are HIV negative from
my
contracting HIV.
I got a quick question from Diamond Cherry, honey, my good girlfriend, honey. She says, what do you do if the church, what do you do in the church if the pastor's son is making a pass at you? What do you
Pay
do?
it, girl.
Pay it? It's a chop?
Don't do it.
It's
It's a
a
chop.
chop.
It's too
It's
much
a chop.
drama.
It's a chop.
It's chop it. It's too much.
What if he's cute?
Pay it.
Just pay it?
Well, let me tell you my
You think from
experience.
experience?
No, not from experience, but I just know, like, you know, being like, you know, a PK, growing up in church my whole life and things like that. And especially if it's like a bigger church, you don't want to mix your religion in the hospital. You're not going to go to a hospital from smoking cigarettes and then walk in the hospital, be in the hospital bed and ask for a cigarette. You're not doing that. So you're going to church as a hospital. So your main focus is supposed to be on your relationship with God. It's not. You're not supposed to be focused on who's going to make it past me or who I'm going to get and things like that. And it's sad because people do go to church to go.
Yeah, well, child, but besides that, my experience with dealing with, you know, no offense to anybody, but church queens, they drama.
That's your experience?
They worse than the regular queens.
See, now you have a negative connotation of a church queen. You have a negative opinion of a church queen.
Yeah, you know,
But see,
I do
I
have
think
friends
I
that
think
are,
we have different definitions
of a church
of
queen.
what a church queen is.
Oh, okay.
And see, me and him may have the same, you know, because we're so you know, we see it in a whole other light because
Yeah,
we're around it. You know, I
but
used to be, you know,
What I know from you two is that you guys are accepting of who you are.
Right.
You know, but we do have quite a few people out here that don't outside. They don't label themselves as gay.
Like internalized homophobia.
Yeah.
People within the who
You
are
know, but
gay.
they not openly dealing with females or anything like that. You feel what I'm saying? But they're behind the scenes dealing with males. They're dealing with their pastors. They're dealing with the people that they're in the choir with. Along while you preaching and you telling me how to live my life and you telling the world, like, child, that girl's a mess and whatever the case may be. But if I decide to deal with you, you don't know how to act. And I think that creates a problem too. You know what I'm saying? Like when people hide who they are, you know, when you try to bring that out, they just don't know how to act.
It's a struggle they're going through.
Okay.
And I want to say this. I think I was saying to you on the phone yesterday. Everybody out there, one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing is because of Chasmar. One of the reasons, because the things that I've seen that happen in his life, it just makes me so mad. It boils my blood. It boils my blood, you know, because people want to hide their responsibilities, you know, and certain things. And as a first child, you know, that keeps me working and pushing more to make people more open and more comfortable about who they are. Because to me, I feel like as though Jesus said, go into the whole world, but for some reason, the world doesn't respect the church. And that's the issue. Because we have to be real. Again, worship him in spirit and truth. You can't do that, you're not walking in the fullness of your life or your purpose, period.
Yeah. I just don't like being in any environment where I have to pretend
Right.
to be someone else.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I do understand going in the church and looking presentable, acting presentable. You feel what I'm saying? It's the same thing that
Right.
applies with work. You know, certain things that you got to cut off. But
We just have some, I mean, our topic was so convincing that we have somebody named Justin Collins. He said, I'm coming out. I'm a gospel white boy singer. It's true. I confess. I guess he's confessing
Online.
Wow.
honey, on Spilling the Tea.
Yeah.
I told you it was
It's
like,
okay, Justin.
Child.
Yes, anything. You can inbox any of us.
Justin
You can inbox
Collins,
me.
let's
Let's
lift our
share
cup.
You wanna
Let's
talk
share
about
him,
it?
honey.
I
We're
want
here with you, brother.
I want to
We're
congratulate
here with
you.
We are here with
We
you.
love you. We support you. You hear me?
Yes, God. And also, I have another question for you. This is coming from Jason Ward. He actually used to work with us here at the RVA. He had a question. Do you think well, we know your church might be, the church that you have might be receptive, but since it's your church, or even your church, would you think your church be open enough to have the RVA, the Rochester Lights, coming to the church and discussing our different vaccine studies? Because, you know, we have the AMP study, which is for MSM. What about this? We also have studies that are for, everyone.
Okay, so one of the things, as far as my church, our first lady actually works here. Yeah, our first lady actually works here. So, and she's a big name. She's a big name.
Big
But,
name.
yeah. So
Big wig.
I don't think that they would be against speaking about what it is that we do here. But as far as, open about what it is that we do in our personal lives, I'm not completely certain on that.
Okay, no.
I'm not completely
Okay.
certain. But as far as, talking about the research studies that we do here, we do have things that our First Lady do discuss about different programs they have here at the Strong Hospital. Different things about health and staying healthy and whatever. So
Yeah. I think one of the things that I wanted to bring up was the fact of the church brings a sense of diversity to our studies, and diversity is important to be in our studies because we don't know if the studies that we have are going to work for the Black gay community. If Black people from the Black gay community don't come participate, we're not going to be able to know. So it's important for us all to get involved. So back onto the topic, honey, internalized homophobia. Yes. How do you guys feel about that? Have you guys ever ran into anyone that had that kind of, that pushed that kind of spirit upon you?
Well, I would definitely say that even I too have had. Well, when you say internal phobia, say that again.
Internalized someone who is gay. I won't say they're open or maybe they are open, but they have these biases towards other gay people, or this kind of that are very open and fluent and know who they are. They have these kind of biases. They have these kind of stigmas upon them. You know what I mean?
The church
Yes,
queens,
they
baby.
themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That church queen. I think that's a negative connotation. I think church queens sometimes have that. A lot of people think church queens are like that. They have this. They're throwing their own insecurities upon gay people who are yeah.
For those people, I mean, I run into it all the time in and out of the church. People who just don't like the extra flamboyant guys and things like that. So when I do come across people like that, I monitor them. I kind of see what they give, and I listen to them in conversation. I pull out some psychology tricks because I want them to understand that. Yeah, you may see this and you may try to denounce them of who they are for them being comfortable with themselves, but at the same time, do you even know who you are? Because how can you come for somebody, or how can you attack somebody because they're trying to be comfortable with themselves or they're finding themselves? Because you never know, they can be going through stages. People will go through stages and different styles, breakdowns. You do different things within life to change up your look or whatever. And so why can't that be just a stage for them? Because I'm pretty sure you had a stage.
Right.
I'm pretty sure there was something you did that somebody didn't agree with. I'm pretty sure there may be a twitch in your walk, but you're trying to control it, and they're just accepting their twitch. So yeah, it's things like that. So when I come across things like that, I try to sit them down and if you really think about it, we're in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
I just choose to own it.
Yeah.
Right. See, that's the thing. That's the thing with people. They don't choose to own. I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't perfect. Bishop, pastor, whoever. That's the thing. When we realize, okay, I'm not what I really think I am. I am who God says I am. So it's just like, when you come to that truth, it's like all of the other stuff doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? When you're really true to yourself, there's nothing that can stop you. You know what I mean? When you're authentic, there's nothing that can stop you.
Right.
You know, and I'm done after I say this. I'm done. But this is for an encouragement, because it's like, you know, since we're talking about homosexuality in the church, there's one thing that I was encouraged about in my life, and it's like this. When I came out, you know, I came out on Facebook. Pastor, 2 churches. I just came to a point. I said, you know what? I can't do this no more, because I'm tired of living a fake life and trying to please other people, and they're not living my life. So, you know, I came to a point when I came out, I realized family let me go. You know, stop talking to me, church, gone. But I had to realize was this: if someone has a kidney transplant, like, you know, you have a kidney, he needs your kidney, right? It's like this. He needs yours. You give it to him, there's only 2 things that can happen. Either his body's going to accept it, or it's going to reject it. But watch this. If the kidney rejects it, if the body rejects the kidney, there was nothing wrong with the kidney. There was something wrong with the body. You feel what I'm saying? So the thing is that when people, you know, the church homosexual, when people reject you or judge you or anything like that, understand there's nothing wrong with you. There's something wrong with them.
Oh, you got to preach.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? It's something wrong with them. So don't ever think that. Don't ever think that you have low self-esteem, or whether you think you're not worth it, or you know this is just who I am, but I'm just going to be average. No, you walk in your purpose. You walk in your destiny. Don't let homosexuality or lesbianism hardly be a crutch. This is who you are, and walk in your purpose. Walking in your divine purpose. You know what I'm saying? So I'm done. Bishop is done.
Bishop out? Yes, so we have one final question for you guys before we close out. You got any more juice, or you got no more juice? You got more juice?
No more? I don't see none in my cup.
I spill what I need to spill.
Okay. Both of you guys can answer this individually, but what do you say to maybe to the young LGBT youth who is in the closet, or not even in the closet, who is in the church but is dying to be themselves, dying to want to be a part of the community, but is scared because they feel that the church environment has kind of stifled them? What do you say to them?
Okay, do you? Period. That's how I feel, because that's what I was going through too. Like, you know, it's like you want to fit in everywhere. Nobody wants to not be disliked. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to have friends. But God walked alone. His disciples were chosen. You know, and they talked about Jesus. They crucified him, and he did nothing wrong. So what's to say that they're not going to talk about you? What's to say that they're not going to, you know, not accept you? Because at the end of the day, you have to go to sleep. You have to sleep with yourself. You know, you have to pray alone. It's you and your name on the title. You know, you're born alone and you're going to die alone. None of these people are going to go in the casket with you. They don't have bunk beds and caskets, you know? So you have to worry about your relationship. You have to worry about, you know, what you're walking, what your path is. And if you feel like you want to come out and do what you need to do, just, you know, hold on to your faith. Don't let go of your religion. Don't get out here and be like, you know, forget it. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do because somebody loves you. Somebody loves you. If you don't find peace within people, God loves you. Don't put your trust in man. Men will always fail. They will always fail for you. So the thing is, though, you have to follow God and trust in him, and then go from there on that path. You know, pray with him and do your daily walk. Because we all work hard for something. You may not know what your gift is, and you may be blocking your own gift because you're scared to accept who you are. How are you supposed to increase and grow in the life and maintain around other people if you can't even figure out who you are?
Exactly.
Yes, God.
You can't move on unless that.
Accept the baby.
Exactly. I'm going to say it just like this. Know God for yourself. Know God for yourself. Just period. Know God for yourself. Don't go on grandma's, you know, it's good foundation, it's good structure, you know, from the pastor, bishop, you know, when we were growing up. But you have to know, from that stage, you have to know God for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And know you for yourself.
So we're gonna close out with that.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys please go check out Malik and his service. He does great promotion for his stuff, by the way. So you guys go check out his page and check out Bougie Pendleton. Check out the Chop Line. Go support both these incredible beings. And we're gonna close out with that.
Also, go on Rochester Victory Alliance Facebook page, also RochesterVictoryAlliance.org, or even like us, me and Chasmar at Spilling the Tea with Chasmar and Jazzelle. We have a Facebook page by the same name. Please like us on there. If you're interested in the study, you can message us right through that page. And I think that's about it,
That's
honey.
about it. So thank you guys for tuning in to Spilling the Tea. I am Chasmar.
And I am Giselle, honey.
And sometimes the tea just runneth over.
Yes, God.